What's up? Welcome to Aliens and UFOs part number 2. My name is Eric Hovind. I'm the president of Creation Today, and this is certainly going to be an interesting conversation. The Pentagon has been quietly investigating unidentified flying objects since 2007, and the fact that they think they may exist is a really good reason for people to kind of come out of the closet and say, I saw one. Our ministry Creation Today exists to help people turn stumbling blocks into stepping stones on their journey to Christ. And this idea of aliens and UFOs is certainly something that's been used as a stumbling block that we believe could be an amazing stepping stone on you understanding the truth. And when you know the truth, oh baby, the truth will set you free. All right, for those of you joining me on social media, thank you. I threw out a poll on Instagram yesterday, asked a couple of questions. Here are the results. I asked, do you believe aliens created life on planet Earth? And I actually had 1% of you say yes. I don't know if that was a joke or not. 99% of you said no, aliens did not create life on planet Earth. Then we asked this one, do you believe that there is life out there on other planets? We actually had 8% say yes. And actually the poll now, more people have voted. Now it's up to 10% say yes, they believe there's life on other planets. 90% say no, there's not life on other planets. And then when I asked, have you ever seen a UFO? I was kind of wondering, well, what's going to happen here? Because I know what the stats are kind of out there in the world. We're going to talk more about that. But for our audience, for my audience on Instagram, it was 7% of well over 100 people said, yes, they've seen a UFO. Now, UFO just means unidentified flying object. It doesn't mean, it was a spacecraft of alien descent. 93% said no. Should have asked if they would ever want to see one. I think I would get kind of freaked out a little bit if I actually saw one. And I had somebody send me a story about what they saw. Don't have time to go into that. I thought it was interesting. Hey, to all my Creation Today partners out there, thank you. You guys actually make this kind of show possible. We're reaching out on social media as well now, and I'm really excited about that. To Ashley from Texas, thank you for being a Creation Today partner and helping us do what we do. From Eveline from Italy. So great to have you as one of our Creation Today partners. Really excited about that. And Chauncey from New Jersey, shout out to you. We love being the hands and feet that are reaching around the world, influencing people to understand the truth of the gospel. And that is going to come in really clear today, believe it or not, as we talk about aliens and UFOs. By the way, social media, I'm letting you in on this one. Anybody can win this one, okay? Between Facebook or YouTube or our Creation members out there. And by the way, yes, Mizuki, I saw that you're sitting in for Misaki today. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us. And Tom, I hope you're doing well today. John, thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it. George and Gary, thanks for hanging out. And Diane, always good to have you. Let's see. Yvette, great to have you. And to everybody else who's joining us live here as a Creation partner, we want to say thank you. Those of you that are online, just on the YouTube platform or on Facebook, got a book here by my friend Danny Faulkner called The Created Cosmos. I want to give this to somebody. Here's what you have to do to win it. You have to comment, I want that book. And all you got to do is comment, I want that book, The Created Cosmos. If you get really creative maybe, or tell me where you're from, that might help. I'm not picking this. The ladies in the office are going to pick one of these, and they're sending me a name, and I'll tell you who won later on in the program. But The Created Cosmos, Danny actually has a chapter. Does the Bible address the idea of extraterrestrial life? The existence of life elsewhere in the universe is a belief widely accepted in our society. The sun is just one of a couple 100 billion stars in our Milky Way galaxy. We now believe that there must be at least 100 billion other galaxies. In recent years, we've discovered many planets orbiting other stars. So it appears that extrasolar planets probably are common. And he goes through the argument of, does that mean there could be extraterrestrial life? Just that one chapter is worth this book right here. from the Creation Store. But ladies, you pick out somebody who makes a comment that says, I want that book, or tells us where they're from in the comments, and I will be happy to send you that. We're going to email you the EPUB version of that. So it's nice and easy. You get it right away. All right. Let's see here. On the drive back from the Ark Encounter, I saw Danny's presentation at the Creation Museum. Diane, that's so cool. Danny is amazing. He's funny. He rarely wears shoes. That's awesome. And John and Jules all want this book. So, all right, I'm going to let the ladies in the office pick one out. All right, it's between you and the people on social media. Maybe we should hook up our creation partners. I don't know. You ladies decide that, okay? But thank you guys for being on here. Hey, my guest today is none other than Ian Juby, known as Wazulu on YouTube. He has spent the last 30 years in the origins debate. He has helped build Creation Museum displays and exhibits. My nickname for Ian, you'll find out as he starts talking, my nickname is the Crazy Creationist. Ian, what's up, buddy?
This webinar, that's what's up.
Did I nail it? Did I hit it? Man?
Yes, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I introduced you. I got it. You're back on. Oh, hey, Kenander, we forgot to.
Oh,
so you could hear the music? Did it play? I missed the minute. Play the when Ian needs a proper intro, ladies and gentlemen. Ian Juby. Thank you. All right, so Ian, we got you on here. You did a series recently when all of this information about aliens and UFOs came out. I watched it and I went, man, I did a part 1 on aliens and UFOs. You went totally different direction. And I went, okay, I want to get some of that information out there to you guys to let you guys see this. Before we do, though, and get into that, it is time for a little segment. Kent, what's our segment? Headlines. It's time for a little segment called Headlines. I want you guys to check this out. First headline, former Israeli space security chief says extraterrestrials exist. Trump knows about it. Ian, what do you think about this, man?
If Trump knew about it, do you think he'd be quiet? Come on.
That would already be on his Twitter. Well, he's not on Twitter. It's because he's not on any of the social media anymore.
Oh, that's right.
That's why he can't tell us.
That's right.
But surely Don Jr. or somebody would have let us know about that.
Well, and especially because I don't know if you caught it, but Don Jr. actually interviewed him, and he even specifically asked him about the Roswell incident and if he had read the classified reports. And his comment was just, yes, I read it. It was very interesting, and that's all he said. So I mean, but anyway, yeah, go on.
Sometimes I wonder how much information is really out there that they're allowed to, let the high ups know about. Or I guess we're going to actually we're going to talk a little bit about that. Let me save that because I want to talk, about what you already know about some of the black tech that's out there that's classified. We're also going to be joined. I got a couple clips. We interviewed Jason Pratt. Going to be talking about him. But hey, headline number 2, Kent. Headline number 2. This is too good. Aliens, Ian, are now in the slammer after a fist fight with Bill over Hillary. This came out several years ago, but I saw this one. I couldn't help but think they had to be fighting over who has to keep her. And they were fighting because they didn't want to. No, you take her. Any comments on that one?
You take me to your leader. Only if you take them with you, preferably.
You have to take this one. I promise this one wants to go.
That's right.
Well, Ian, in June of this year, our government, the United States government, actually released classified footage and said, we're acknowledging this is now declassified. And they show something's going on. I got a clip about what they're releasing. Here's what they're showing everybody.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
I don't know if this declassified information actually helped clear anything up or not for us, Ian. This is what we need to talk about. What's going on here? What is up with UFOs? How does this tie into creation? How does this tie into, what God is doing around the planet? I had a conversation with Jason Lisle a few months ago after this came out. And Jason's position was, he's pretty dismissive. He's going, look, if you're looking through glass, you just can't prove anything that you're, really talking about. Now, I'm not that dismissive about these things. I mean, you're getting radar locks on things. You don't get the radar locks on, a sunspot or something like that, or a glare. So what made you interested in this, and how much have you studied it, and how deep are you in this world?
Yeah, I'm pretty deep. It's been it depends on what you want, what you're referring to, because like the alternative propulsion stuff that goes back 25 years. I started experimenting with that. But talking on the topic of aliens and Genesis and UFOs, that only goes back maybe 15 years or so. I was on the road with my creation museum, traveling all over North America, and we talked about this previously, where we always have Q&A after a talk, and invariably you can predict the questions that are going to come up. And the most common question when I first went on the road was, what about global warming? And of course, I'm being Canadian, I was all for it. I'm like, yeah, I hope so.
Bring it on, baby.
Yeah, bring it on. But over about 5 years after, it took a bit of a dark turn. And the number one question almost overnight became one of, what about aliens? What about alien life on other planets? What does the Bible say about aliens? And what about alien abductions? And it brought it all to a head probably 13 years ago. I would venture a guess. I was speaking in a Bible camp in Alberta, and I had, in the space of 24 hours, I had 8 different people come up and ask about aliens. And so I kind of got down on my knees before the Lord and said, okay, I'm going to have to deal with this. And as well, we're about to see those numbers, they just fall in line. Your own survey that you did on Instagram, how many people have seen a UFO? It was 7%, I think it was. Yeah.
Actually, it went up to 10%. By the time when I got the clip, the screenshot, it was 7%, but it was up to 10% by the time right now.
And that's bang on the money for what you will see on just about any survey. So 1 in 10 people, think about that. The numbers are truly staggering. So it's no wonder people are asking about it. That's people who have seen UFOs. When you get into, I didn't start my screen share.
Yeah. Because you got slides on this. This is good.
Yeah, and this one I want to show you. Start video. Okay, I think we have the technology figured out. You see it there? Yeah, you do. So this was 2 separate polls, and you can see these on the alienresistance.org website. Okay,
that website. Come on, Alien Resistance. I mean,
alienresistance.org. Yep.
You're deep in you're a crazy creationist when you're going to alienresistance.org.
Yep.
All right, keep going.
Yep. I know the guys personally. But they provided a couple of polls here. There was one, actually, I'll show you the one from Canada first, because this one, even though it's a Canadian poll, it falls in line completely. It was very detailed. So this was strictly Canadians, but notice 9.6 of Canadians have seen a UFO. And so that's just typical. And let me see if I can find that. There it is. Okay. So when you take a look at some of the other polls as well, here's a 2008 Scripps poll. And again, 8% believed they had seen a UFO. In the 2002 UFO and ET Life poll conducted by Roper, and this was commissioned by the Sci-Fi Channel, back in 2002. But again, exact same statistics. 12% believe they had seen UFOs. It's typically 8 to 12%, so around the 10% mark, 1 in 10. And 94% in that survey said if they were given an opportunity, they'd get a ride off planet Earth on the first UFO they could. So,
hang on, when was this? Was this poll taken while Obama was in office? Is that what's going on?
I made that part up.
Oh,
but the rest of it's legit. Okay, so you can ignore that. But the this part right here, however, is where it gets really dark, really fast. And again, this number is consistent with all the polls. Typically, between 2 to 3% believe they have been believe they have had a personal encounter with aliens, and typically that is the alien abduction phenomenon, which is not at all what people think it is. It basically boils down to kidnapping and rape, and it doesn't just happen once. It usually happens over and over and over again, and these beings keep coming back and doing it, and it's torture. It's horrible. And so 2 to 3%, if we go by the 2.5% average, that's 1 in 40. So 1 in 40 people. So just, I don't know how many viewers we got on the line. I can't see, but, start doing the math.
Yeah,
1 in 40.
Based on what they're telling me right now, probably at least 4 to 5 people joining us right now on the different platforms have experienced something that you're talking about.
Yes. And it's very common. So 1 in 40, I mean, just think about 40 people that you know. And chances are at least one of them believes they've been abducted by an alien. And so when I got down on my knees and started praying about this, I was at this Bible camp. It was in a remote location. My internet connection was horrible. My cell phone connection was just as bad. I had to drive into town in order to make a phone call. And I started calling some people I respected around the country. And these are people I've known for years. And every person I talked to were like, yeah, I got abducted by aliens earlier. Yeah, I was abducted once. Yeah, I was abducted once. And they all... What? Oh yeah, it floored me. Basically, my numbers lined up with that 1 in 40. I very quickly saw just how many people this affected. So,
and just so I'm clear here, we're not talking about I ate some bad sushi and had a really bad nightmare.
Correct. Yes. And I think it's okay I say this, it's spoiler alert, but basically one by one, each of those people, they were now Christians, and they all said the same thing. The alien abductions started when they basically told these aliens to leave in the name of Jesus Christ.
Wow.
So there's your first clue as to one of the things that's going on here. So
okay, so first of all, I watched a video on this. Our friends over at Creation Ministry International, they're called CMI. They've got a video that actually talks about this very specific thing. And it's called, is it Alien Intrusion, I think is the name of it. If you want to see a documentary that's been done on this, where they're literally talking to people who this has happened to, this hasn't happened to you yet, right, Ian?
No.
Okay, all right. So you're not going to hear those firsthand encounters here, but if you want to hear some of the firsthand encounters, Alien Intrusion at Creation Ministry International, CMI, actually talks about that on their documentary.
Mm-hmm. And it's a little tricky because there's a very distinct line drawn between UFOs and aliens. And the problem being is our culture conflates the two as one and the same. And so this is one of the reasons why all of this UFO declassification in the States was such a big deal, was because everyone, it was hilarious when that Senate report came out. I watched this wave of depression spread over the world as everybody read this report and just hugely let down because they didn't even talk about Roswell. They didn't talk about the aliens they have in Area 51. They didn't acknowledge aliens. They just said, yeah, here's some UFOs. And then the headlines, of course, came out. UFO report doesn't rule out aliens. Well, that's true, but it also didn't rule out time travelers, interdimensional beings, or demons. And even when evolutionary researchers start talking about demons being a more likely explanation for the alien encounters, when evolutionists like Carl Sagan start talking about them, that catches my attention.
No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get into that. But anyway.
Okay. Well, I want to know this though. How many of these are just misidentifications? You and I got to talk to Jason Pratt. He's a former Navy pilot, went into the astronaut program and now launches satellites. Jason has flown experimental aircraft. We actually asked him about this, and he mentioned that one of the very satellites that he launched, that he let my wife and I come down and check out before it was launched. He said, this is one that many people thought was a UFO. Yep. Actually, here's us talking to Jason. Actually, can you stop sharing your screen for just a second so it shows up, because otherwise it won't show up. And then turn the video on your desktop off. And Kent, can you play that clip of Jason?
So one other unidentified flying object story that I was personally involved with is the MUOS 3 launch. And so I was the launch director for the MUOS program. MUOS stands for Mobile User Objective System, or Mobile User Objective Satellite. And it's a satellite communication system for the military, and is placed in geosynchronous orbit. And for the MUOS 3 launch, you can Google this and look up the pictures, and you will see pretty amazing pictures. I don't know if there's too many video out there, but we were able to observe it live, and it was absolutely amazing. It was a pre-dawn launch, and it was about a 10,000-pound satellite on top of an Atlas V rocket in what we call the 551 configuration. So that means that a 5-meter payload fairing, so pretty large diameter payload fairing, extra long fairing as well because of the size of the satellite, and 5 solid rocket motors, and then the one is just the Centaur upper stage of kind of the first evolution of that. In any case, as the rocket ascended post-launch, it pierced its own sunrise. So even though it was pre-sunrise, pre-dawn at the launch base at Cape Canaveral, it had gotten to an altitude where it was now in its own sunrise. So it was illuminated. So you could see the rocket quite nicely. And then as it reached, max Q, and then it was supersonic already, as its speed increased and it was continuing to accelerate. And as the air grew thinner, as it gained altitude, the cloud around it from the supersonic bubble, if you will, continued to grow and grow and grow until you got this big, like ocular, roundish looking cloud around this launch vehicle. And it was kind of glowing in an eerie way with being up in the sun. So absolutely fascinating. A lot of people that have seen dozens of launches said that was the most incredible launch they'd seen. Well, as this rocket was going, and as you're downrange of it, you may likely hear it. It's going supersonic, so you'll hear the sonic boom plus the sound of the rocket motors. People definitely took notice up and down the coast of Florida, all the way down the coasts of South America. And people were calling various government agencies, police, FAA, whatever the equivalent would be in South America, and making reports of unidentified flying object. And they thought that the Martian invasion had begun because this cloud vision was absolutely stunning. And again, just look at the pictures, and a lot of people really thought they saw a UFO. And I guarantee you there's a lot of South Americans that just probably have not gotten word that, yeah, that was an American space. To this day, will tell you they've seen a UFO, and it came and left. And it was interesting. Once it pierced the atmosphere and left, it was almost like that cloud popped. It was kind of like a bubble bursting. You saw like a pinhole in it up at altitude as it left, because there's no more air to create that sonic cloud. and then then it dissipated. So it was pretty amazing experience to view that. But that was just a rocket launch.
So I hear that and I'm like, all right, how many different things that people see are just that? It's called a UFO, now a UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon, because it's just simply unidentified. They just didn't know what it was, versus when we think of UFO, we think of some kind of flying saucer type thing.
Yep. And the let's bring that home for a second. I would refer to the Mutual UFO Network. Now, for those not familiar with it, this is an international organization. It was started in the 60s, and they're people who had an interest in UFOs. And so they started this organization, and basically, if you see a UFO, you call up MUFON, they call it for short, and they send a field investigator, and they will come. They will interview you. They will take pictures of the location where you saw the UFO, etc. And they actually publish statistics every month of the number of reports they field. And so here's one. This one is from May 2020. United States always tops the list, typically 300 to 500 per month of UFO sightings.
Per month.
So the numbers are just huge. So people need to understand that, okay? And MUFON reporters themselves would tell you probably 90 to 95% of those sightings are explainable. So it's exactly like what Jason shared with us there. You can see that effect as well. There was, I forget when it was, but I believe it was over Finland. A few years back, the Soviets launched an intercontinental ballistic missile as part of a test. Got up into over the horizon, into the sunlight, and had a failure and spun around in a circle. And it made this huge glowing spiral in the sky that lots of people got pictures of it. But it was like the most dramatic thing I'd ever seen. And people for thousands of miles saw this UFO. I mean, it was up in the atmosphere, So anyway, stuff like that. The majority of sightings are explainable. The ones that like the clips that you showed that were declassified.
Yeah.
By the way, Jason Pratt, was he commander? What was his? I meant to ask him his rank.
I thought he retired as a lieutenant colonel, but
Lieutenant Colonel,
Jason,
okay.
If I'm wrong on that, I don't know how. He doesn't have a big ego. He's a cool guy. So
I know,
and he's got an awesome ministry, man. Anvil Ministry, dude. You pastors out there, if you want a guy who flew F-18s, F-14s, F-15s, and has launched satellites into space and works on the rocket program, Jason Pratt, send me an email, erichoven@creationtoday.org, and I'll send you his contact info, because he would be a great speaker at your church. He's awesome.
Yeah, and I was trying to get him to get me one of those F-15s. There was that buying frenzy on them a while back.
He just retired. So. Don't they get one for retirement? Isn't that how that works?
Hey, what's up with that? Okay. But yes, with MUFON, it's very interesting, because not only do they keep statistics of UFO sightings, that very same month, if you take a look down at the bottom, there's a little tagline at the bottom. And it just says, most impressively, there were 26 landings, hovering, or takeoffs reported, and 34 entities observed. So that choice of word, entities, is a very carefully chosen word, and that comes back to Hynek, who came up with the, you remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right?
Yep.
We've all heard that. Hynek was the one that came up with that classification system. Close Encounters of the First Kind, Second Kind, Third Kind, and then there was fourth, fifth, sixth added later on. And Hynek was the one who chose that word entities, because let's say some top secret military spacecraft, like at Falcon Lake in Manitoba, Canada, which is probably the best documented UFO sighting on Earth to date. This UFO lands. There's a door open on the side. This guy is out in the bush where normally people aren't. and he hears voices, and he just figures it's you guys. He just figures it's the Americans, and they've got the experimental aircraft, and they got problems with it. Well, he's got tools and stuff, so he goes over to the door to offer to help them, and he hears voices, but the voices stop when he calls out, and he called out in 3 different languages. Hey, do you guys need help? And then he kind of stepped back. The door closed. This thing took off and flew away. And there was a vent beside the door. When it rotated, it blasted him apparently with hot radioactive gases, and he actually wound up with a burn pattern on his stomach. But let's take that one. Personally, I just think of as people. It was just who knows who, but some governmental agency with an experimental UFO craft. And so if those guys had actually gotten out of it, and this guy had seen them, he might see people walking around in, say, a spacesuit. That's why Hynek called them entities. They're people, but we don't know, right? So that's why they're careful about that word. But anyway, I'm getting off on rabbit trails here. So
these stories are really, really interesting. I want you actually talk a little bit about you're a member of Mensa. You've done some stuff in propulsion, and I want to get into the black tech stuff as well. But before we get into what we know versus what we don't know in the black tech area, I want to give away a couple copies of this book digitally so I can send it to you guys. This is really a great book. Danny Faulkner, great job on this book, The Created Cosmos. So the girls in the office are letting me give away multiple copies. Thank you guys. Really appreciate that. They don't always let me do what I want to do. But you guys are awesome today. So Creation Today partners. Man, it looks like if you're here and you're a Creation Today partner, they are hooking you up. So those of you joining us live and who have made a comment, the rest of you guys should have made comments. Gary, you should have made a comment because they said we're sending it to Jules, John, Diana, and Yvette. So congratulations to you guys. On Creation Today's Facebook page, Melinda Franson says she's from near Area 51. And apparently they just felt like you need this book. So they're sending you this book. Make sure you reach out to Eric Hovind at creationtoday.org to claim that copy. On the Genesis Movie Facebook page, if you're watching from the Genesis Movie Facebook page, Parson Crew. So the whole crew, Stephen and Elizabeth and the whole Parson crew, you guys are the winner of the Created Cosmos by Danny Faulkner. And reach out to Creation Today. You can grab that. If you didn't win, I'm so sorry. You do have a better chance if you're a Creation Today member. And here's the part where I got to disappoint all of you on social media. I'm about to kick you off of here, and we're going to go into some stuff that I probably would get kicked off of social media anyway for talking about with a crazy creationist. So we're going to say goodbye to you guys, and we're going to continue just with our creation partners, those of you that are over on the Creation Today side. So if you want to be a Creation Today partner, by the way, we would love that. You're actually enabling us to reach around the world with the creation message on a regular basis. And if you want more information about that, please go to creationtoday.org, and consider being a partner with us to help us reach more people. I don't know how much time we have left on planet Earth to declare the truth. I certainly don't know how much time I have left, but with whatever time we have left, we want to just partner with more and more people to influence this world and know who God is. So please come on over to creationtoday.org and consider becoming a Creation Today partner with us. And then you can join us live or watch the entire conversation anytime you want. You also get access to everything we've done just as a thank you. All of our resources you have access to as a Creation Today partner that we put up on that platform. So would love for you to be a part of that. Ian, as we continue on, man, I want to hit the history of black tech. I want to get into some of the, Jason gave us some more really